Okay, I just opened up the back of my computer and here's the battery. Gonna need a new one. This little thing here plugs into this little thing here just by doing this. I got a screwdriver in my hand too and a camera. You just push it in there and then set it down there, and then the screws will go around it. And how did I get it off? Well, I got all these screws here. These are for the battery, these little black ones, so I don't want to lose them. And I had to take the disk drive out.
That's the
I mean, not the disk drive,
DVD-ROM.
the DVD-ROM drive out. These are for the back. Oh, and then these little rubber strips come off the back too.
Which hide screws. That's the motherboard.
And here's the back. Pretty dirty. But this is how they do it nowadays, so you can get the battery out instead of being able just to go through the, just turning the computer upside down and getting it off. Now you gotta take everything apart to get to the battery. I'm becoming a real tech.
Sometimes I think desktops in the 90s, early 2000s were easier to work on.
Yeah.
The little I did on them. There's more room.
So this is what the inside of my laptop looks like. Fun stuff. For the back of the case, I thought I'd clean it with a little alcohol on a cotton swab, trying to get all this dust out. And then you got to let this completely dry, or else you could damage your computer when you get it hooked back up. So that's all you got to do, is a little alcohol on a swab or something, but make sure it dries completely. Alcohol dries really quickly. But you see how I'm getting all this dust out just by cleaning it with a little alcohol. I did blow it with a little air duster, my compressed air that they sell for computers. Here's what I used, this dust off duster. You don't want to shake it. I made the mistake of shaking it, but I let it sit a few minutes. And then put this in, and then all you do is push this, and that pushes the air so you can get it into your computer so it'll blow out the dust. So if you've seen before, it was all dusty, but now there's hardly any dust in there because I used that duster to blow the dust out. Figured I might as well clean it up while I have it all torn apart. Wait for the new battery to come. I put the screws back in. So there's one here, and one goes here, and then one up here where it says battery, and then the other one's right here. And I'm going to do that, and I'm kind of keep it there until I get my new battery. That way I don't lose the screws somewhere in the house, because they are tiny. Alright, so now I got my camera set up so I can put this back together now. I didn't film it taking apart, but I'm going to try doing it backwards. So here's where the battery went. And that means I have to flip it around so that I'm looking at the hard drive, which is over here. I mean, not the hard drive. Well, this is the hard drive here. This is the disk drive. Okay. Now, let's see. Now I got to try to remember everything I did to take it apart. And right now my mind is drawing a blank. Oh. So, Now that I got the battery out, which goes here, I'm going to flip this top, well this is actually the bottom, back over. So here's the disk drive goes here. Everything's dry. I cleaned that all up. Now flip it back over, and you gonna press this on. It snaps in, as you can hear. Hopefully it'll snap all the way around. To take it off, I had to use a guitar pick. And when you take it off, you put the guitar pick in and you kind of go all the way around the edges, and it helps pull it up. And you just want to flip your laptop around and keep pressing it down so that you can hear all these snapping. You kind of lift up and snap it in all the way around. Okay, that looks about right, but I'm going to double check to make sure by lifting it up again, running my hand around the insides just like this and pressing down. Okay, so the next step is to put my screws in. So there's these little ones here, and they're going to go in these holes here. So there was only 2 in each one. One on that end, and one down here on this end. And I got my screwdriver here somewhere. Right here. So when you're using alcohol, you got to make sure that the alcohol is dried before you put anything back together, because you don't want to mess it up. Static electricity too is another thing. You're supposed to ground yourself by holding onto metal or something like that. But I haven't had much static electricity in my body, so I guess I'll be okay. So flip it around, then I'm going to put another screw here and another screw right here. These things are tiny too. You don't want to lose them. If you can get it, this here's not magnetic, but if you can get a magnetic one, it's great. Now I'm going to have to do this again when my battery comes, but I have to order one. That's going to take a couple weeks probably. Okay, now I got those screws back in. Then there's these rubber looking strips, and they go into the back of the computer just like this. It kind of covers it up, and just follow along. And then there's these little pieces in here that actually pop down into the holes. So maybe start there first, put them in the holes, and then you can get it. You gotta line it up right, because if it's not lined up right, it won't fit back in there. That's just the rubber part, the bottom of the computer. Same with this side. These two little pieces are going to go down in. Well, this has one. Actually, the other side had two. So, yep. Just follow along. It helps if you can remember what what you took out where. Okay, and my next step there's 2 screws that go into the bottom of where the drive fits back in. And these screws look like this. They're flat. So there's going to go back in. Luckily for me, one size screwdriver fits it all. Let me show you here what I'm doing. Seems easier to take off, put it together than it does to take it apart. But once you get the hang of it, it should be very easy. Now I'm gonna slip this drive back in. Okay, so it goes this way. It goes into the sleeve this way. Now you want to screw those in. These screws here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And then that's it. There's 2. I like to get them in the holes first. And I can tighten those up. So, you know, when you take it apart, you're going to take it apart just the same way I'm showing you how I'm putting it together. Just go in reverse. Take these screws out, then take the disc out. Take those 2 screws out, open it up. If you're going to take your battery out, remove the screws around your battery, clean it up, then put it all back together same way. Don't forget to take these rubber strips off, because there lies more screws underneath. And that's it. So simple to put it back together. Thank you for watching.